Welcome to Lathe and Loom. My name is Cher. Thanks so much for stopping by the channel. I hope you'll grab a cuppa and your latest project and spend a little time with me. This should be a fairly short episode. I just want to update you with one of my finished objects, an almost finished object. I'll update you on the slipper saga, and yeah, that'll probably be it. It's kind of a short one today. So let's get started. So before we get started, today I'm wearing my Comfort Fade Cardi. This is a pattern by Andrea Mowry that I completed in October of 2021. The yarns are all Merino DK. 3 are by Fru Valborg. That would be the paler pink Dahlia, this mid-color Ramshackle, and this deeper kind of tealy purples in Belize. And the last one is Life in the Long Grass. It's this garnet color here. So I don't know if I can keep it on. It's, as usual, like yesterday freezing, today a little warmer, but I knew I'd be in and out, and cardigan would be a good choice for today. So that's what I've got on. No, also wanted to acknowledge some set enhancements. So I have had a birthday this past week, so I still have some lovely flowers. These are from my husband. I've got some from a really dear friend. I'll probably change out part of the way through just for fun. And I have this lovely mug from my dear friend June. Gave it to me with some nice tea. So it's like, I think I have a Ramalama Ding Dong that I got years ago from the ladies at the Knit Nook, and so this is my second nitty mug, which is very, very fun. So I enjoy that, and the tea was delicious. So yeah, anyway, on to the knitting content. So first, pride of place, today's finished object is the 2025 Mystery Knit Along Stocking by Arne and Carlos. This was such a fun knit. I totally on the whim. I've never knit a stocking. I don't need a stocking. It came on. I caught the, kind of the run up to it, and I thought, that just sounds like a fun holiday kind of kickoff. And we started. The first thing we had the toe. It's a really interesting toe, where I, on my toes, increase just on the edge stitches on the front and the back. This one increases, let's see if I can show you, at the beginning of each needle if you're using DPNs, or in the middle. So it has this really interesting kind of a swirl pattern here. And it's pretty. And then they release 6 rows a day. So we sort of, we had the toe, and then we got this motif. This is crowns, I think they called it, and then hearts, and then the Scandinavian star, acorns. Let's see, I'm not holding it very. Here, acorns. And then this was knit with, so we did not do the heel, like we knit it for afterthought heel. So we did the acorns, we went into this candle motif, some more hearts, and these very festive Norwegian dancers, and then we had another snowflake, and then kind of back into more of a traditional motif. I went off-piste on a couple of things. This is supposed to be red in the pattern. I added the gold. I just thought it'd be nice to use a little more of that gold that I waited on. So I just added a little bit in there. So there was 1 row of 3 color work. And then they had knit the heel and cuff in the red to match the toe. And again, I just wanted to bring that green up a little bit. So This is fun. It's interesting. I used it as a little bit of a lab, if you will, and experimented on how I was holding my color work. I do knit continental. I do hold both yarns, or in the other one row case, all three on my left hand. So I can get too loose on my tension actually because I don't twist it around my fingers. I also played a little bit with color dominance, and I have never really managed catching floats without having it show through. So actually down here I was actually using some ladder back jacquard to catch. I don't know how easily that would be, but by the time I got up here I was catching the floats. I think they turned out nicely. I was catching about every 3 when it was like more than 5. And what I found is, for me, the way that I tension my yarn, after I do that catch, which I'm just kind of pulling over under the other color, the non-dominant color, I then have to pull that yarn, and you get a noticeable like, and which at first I'm conscious of, pulling it too tight, but what I found was I then do that and then sort of stretched, and I think it's really nice and even at the top. I noticed when I was blocking it last night, I have a couple of places where I've got one poking through, that's where I was going to now, the ladder back, so I just need to probably push that through a little bit, or not. I could duplicate stitch over it if it really is not fixable. And then I did a little bit longer. I think they had a 10 row cuff. I thought I'd have a little bit of extra cuff, and then I've got an I-cord in there. What I did on my circular sock machine, y'all, never knit an I-cord again. so nice. I'll talk about that in a minute. And then afterthought heel. They did the heel the same way they did the toe. I like a really traditional looking heel, so I just did my usual afterthought heel. So super happy with that. Oh, so mine, I think the yarn they use, which is the Arnie and Carlos, if you could find it, Norwegian wool, or Ask. And I think they used a smaller needle than I did. Their yarn was thinner. I used all leftovers from my stockings, or from my slippers, of Briggs and Little Heritage 2-ply, which is a wool worsted weight, beautiful for color work, highly recommend. And I could wear this. It's woolly, but I don't find it scratchy, but it's definitely would be a hard wearing wool. So I think the colors are, the green is fur green, red is scarlet. They have several reds and greens and blues and so forth. The yellow, I think it's just golden, maybe, or gold. Blue is the quaddy blue. Is that everything? And then the white is the washed white as opposed to the bleached white. So yeah, super excited about having that one done. I was one day behind. I ran out of, some of you might have seen, I played a little game of Yarn Chicken. I took a ball, we were traveling last week, and I took a ball of the blue that I had, and I thought I had enough, and I ran out literally on the last half of the last row right here, so I had to wait till we got home. But it did occur to me I could go ahead and do the heel while I was waiting, and then I caught the rest of it up and did the cuff yesterday. So almost on time for the mystery knit along. It was fun. Like every day they had like a little quiz. Sadly, I did not win any of the quiz weeks where you can get some of their yarn, which would have been really fun. But it was fun to just have a little thing to check in each day, and knitting 6 rounds was quite easy. So I don't know if there are patterns. So this pattern is still free for a little bit, just like maybe into the first week in December. If you want to get that, it's on their blog. And last time I checked, and I don't know when that sale is going off, they have a sale on most of their other stocking patterns, like 70% off. So if you're interested in doing any Christmas stockings, they have some beautiful designs, and they're very good value. I think they're like €210 or so. That is the 2025 Arnie Carlos Stocking Mystery Knit Along. So next up, I've got a work in progress. This is the Alchemist Slipover. This is a pattern by Wool and Pine Designs. I have finished knitting really the slipover itself. So you cast on back shoulder, do some short rows, join them together, knit the back, knit the ribbing, pick up for the shoulders, do some short rows, shape and you're obviously shaping the arm sides as you go. You've got some ribbing in here. That'll show up that you're knitting as you go. I can see my light is really going in and out. Sorry about that. More on that in a minute. And then knit that down, knit the ribbing. It is longer in the back than the front. That is not a mistake. You are marking where you're going to put your cords through here. It's not blocked yet, obviously. And then you're picking up and doing the neckline. Pretty happy with how nicely, the color is horrible. Sorry, y'all. I should stay back here. Happy with how you're doing the neckline here and how that picked up. So then the way that this closes is you use an I-cord, and then the pattern, they also have it with tassels. And what's going to happen is the I-cord, it's not attached. Like I was a little confused at first. It's just going to poke through the ribbing here and then hang down. So I wanted to knit the I-cord on the circular sock machine as I did for the stocking. This is actually the first one I tried, which I was successful in doing. And I think it looks really nice. It would have been even better if I'd have realized it was 30 inches and not 30 centimeters. So I'll be re-knitting that today, which is why this is not done. And I had to finish the collar yesterday, and I just decided, you know what, I'm not rushing just to get it done. I want it done well. I'm on the fence about the tassels, and here's why. You thread this through, and it just sort of pulls together the side. Then you can tie a half knot or whatever bow. And I noticed about when you look through the project pages on Ravelry, maybe a third, maybe a half to do the tassels, and I really like it. Although I don't know that I need any extra bulk around my hips, but the reason I'm questioning it is because unless it's a really slim tassel, I don't know how you would get that then in and out through, you're pushing that through the ribbing. So this was on a size 7 needles, I believe. So what is that? 4.5 millimeter. The I-cord goes through fine, but again, the tassel would have to be no thicker than the I-cord, and otherwise, because I don't imagine you would block it or wash it with that attached. So a little on the fence. I looked up some videos. There were some nice videos of how to get the tassel on the I-cord. It's just random YouTube searches. So I don't know. So I'm going to reknit this. I think I may just leave it and do it as a bow the way a lot of folks have done. Yeah, definitely worked well on the CSM. Very quick, not tedious at all. So knitting I-cord is not my favorite task. I mean, it's not bad. It's easy. It's not hard to do, but just there are other things I'd rather be knitting. So I knit this with Queensland collection Kathmandu DK100 in the colorway Magenta. And kind of afraid to like do that. So we'll have that one as FO. It should debut for Thanksgiving dinner, which should be nice. And I feel like I'm all crooked every time. Anyway, so that is the Alchemist Slipover by Wool and Pine Designs. So last update today is, ta-da! I have felted the first 3 pairs of the Stangeland double slippers. So this is the first pair, quaddy blue, fur green, and red BWO, I think is this one's called, which is just really lovely, kind of deep mauve-y pink. I will tell you all, this is really good woolly wool. I could not get it to felt. I mean, now if this had been a sweater, I would have felted like that. I ran these through my washing machine for hot towel cycles and like nothing. I ended up then putting them in the sink and trying to felt by hand, which was a little more successful. Couple of things. First of all, I don't think it's the yarn. I believe what has happened is that I have a top load machine without an agitator. So I believe that, you know, our washers are now designed to help you not inadvertently felt things. I did check, I mean, our hot water comes out very hot. It's like it's a hotter setting than a lot of people probably have, because I use it for washing wool. Comes out, I let it come through the sink, so it was coming through the washer hot. I'm not sure the washer gets as hot as it does coming through the tap, which is kind of interesting. Felting it by hand was a chore, and I'll do the next one that way. But then the other thing that, as I was kind of just watching, just doing a little research, I did finally check my gauge last night. My gauge is a little smaller, but I was only getting about 15% shrinkage, where in the pattern, the yarn they're using, they're getting about 25%. So I made a couple of adjustments on the pair that I am, sorry, I don't want to have Sadie hair all over that. On the pair that I'm knitting now, I have shortened it a little bit to accommodate for the little bit less shrinkage. I think on the next pair, which I'll have 2 men's pairs, so the larger sizes, I believe I will use, so I'm using right now, I think even 1 needle up from what they're recommending, it may be because it's small gauge, because I'm usually a pretty loose knitter, and I'm getting there. I think the pattern is 15 stitches to the inch, and I'm getting 16 stitches, to the 10 centimeters. So I think I may go up to a size 10 needle. I'm doing, these are knit like a little pair of pants. If you haven't seen my prior episodes, feel free to go back. I'm knitting what I call like the heel cup, this part here. If I knit it by hand, it would be magic loop, but I'm using the knitting machine to do that. And then I'm picking up and knitting the first foot with, I'm using a 9-inch circular, 9-inch circulars. And then when I get to the toe decreases, I switched over to double points, just because I find it easier to keep track with that. So that's kind of my method. Foot takes maybe about an hour. It's just kind of background project work for me. This is the copper colorway. Also, these are all Briggs and Little Heritage 2-ply. Anyway, so I've got that pair plus 2 more, then I'd like to make myself one, but there's no timeline for that. So that's where we are with the slippers. So what else? I did post a short today. We were down at the farm property, or not today, this week. So if you take a look at the shorts over on the YouTube channel, you'll see I just did a little quick preview. We got the tractor delivered. So that was fun. So I'm learning to operate it, and we're just the mill building. We kind of started getting that sited. Got our permits approved, thankfully. We met with the house designer again last week to kind of get the next iteration of that going. So things are kind of starting to move along. All of a sudden, that mill equipment delivery date is seeming really close, and we have a lot to do. So you'll see a lot more on the channel of that to come. So question for you all. So my current plan is to rebrand the channel with the farm name. I've done that already over on Facebook. I could split, but I don't really know that I want to manage 2 YouTube channels. I could shut this one down and only have that one. I don't want to lose the little grateful for the subscribers that I do have. So yeah, just curious. I think it would be seamless for you all if I rebrand. I think it just pops up differently after I change it. I probably will do that after the first of the year. Let me address the audio video. I did get a really wonderful birthday present from our son. I have a new set of microphones. I did not use it today because I could not get it working with my computer. So I'm going back to the camera. I think what's happened is with the shift in the time of day, the recording hasn't changed, but the way the light has changed, and that's causing issues. So I know you're getting a little bit of color and focus issue, as well as I've had a little bit of audio. I don't know. I can't account for the audio, why that would be any different than it's been. Anyway, so my plan is, I know I did not post last week because I think you're starting to see a lot of Advents and holiday stuff, and that's just sort of, I'm not a big enough channel to carry doesn't boost me up there. Although if you are not subscribed, it is free to subscribe, and that does help me. I would love it if you would click that. You can do that if you have a smart TV, or if you're watching on your phone or computer. That would help me so much. The other thing that helps is I would really love to have you leave a comment, and that's not just for the engagement of the channel. I really just very much enjoy the dialogue that I have with you all when you post. I do read them all, and I do reply to them all. And I love to know what you're working on or where you're watching from, any feedback you have. I'm cognizant of the audio video that we are working on. So anyway, I am not going to post a regular podcast, I don't think at all, in December, because I know it's just, you get inundated with Vlogmas and Advents and other things, and I think it'll just get lost in the shuffle. And I don't know that my weekly posting is really doing much from a channel perspective anyway. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of a break, give you all a break. But what I am going to do is spend some time working through, maybe I'll post a couple of vlogs or some shorts. I'm going to work on that, getting the camera settings back. I just haven't used that in a while, get the microphone working. So hopefully when we come into the new year, we'll have some crisp, good clean audio and some good video. So we'll have that moving along, and then eventually I think I'll get a vlogging camera. I think that will be helpful with the farm activity. So that is it for this week. So if you would give us a thumbs up, that would be great. If you will leave a comment, let me know what you're working on or what you're doing if you're celebrating for the holidays. In the U.S., I'll wish you an early happy Thanksgiving, and that'll be it. So thanks so much for joining me, y'all. Happy knitting, spinning, dyeing, and weaving. Bye.